Hi, my name is Isha Patel, Executive Coding Officer of KITE, and welcome to KITE's free Java course. At KITE, we're on a mission to teach people across the globe the latest coding technologies. Today, we're going to learn about switch statements and random numbers. What are switch statements? Switch statements function similarly to if statements, but are an easier way to write and operate them. It takes in an input and compares it with the multiple cases, and if it finds a match, it executes the code written after that case. If none of the cases are a match, it executes the default code. Switch can only be used to check if two things are equal and nothing else. Another one of its limitations is that you can't use larger primitive data types such as long and float or objects within a switch. In order to create a switch statement, you need to follow this format. You begin with your keyword switch, then inside your parentheses you have your input, your curly brackets, and this is where your case begins. So case 1, code, and then break. After each case, you need to make sure you have your keyword break. And basically what break does is it stops running any code underneath it. Once it sees that, it's not going to run any other code. Then you have your case 2, your code, and then break again. And you can continue on with these cases as many times as you want. Like you could continue on with else if as many times as you want. And wherever your 1 and 2 is, that's where you would want to put something that you want to compare your input with. So for example, if we have int input equals 5, and let's say we didn't know that this number is 5, we want to check it, we want to compare it, and we want to see what this number actually is, then we would create a switch statement. So you do switch input, you would have case 1. Case 1, system.out.println, this number is 1. And 1 is like the integer you're comparing it with. So is this integer 1? It's going to print out this. If it's not, then we can go on to the next case. And after you write break. Case 2. And you just repeat this again. System.out.println, this number is 2. And you can continue writing this as many times as you want. It's also giving like an error because you can't have like 2 of the same cases. So you need to make sure like each case is different. And it's going to print out whichever case is true. So we can see it says this number is 5 because it was checking with each of the cases and it matches this case. Because int input equals 5, obviously we know that, and it also equals 5 here, so it's going to print out this number as 5. Switch can obviously only be used to compare two things out of equality. It can't be used to compare anything else. And switch also has another unique case where you don't have to write break after every single case because you would want it to print the same thing. So for example, let's create another integer variable, int y equals 4. And again, let's pretend we don't know what this variable is and we want to compare it, but this time we want to check to see if this integer is even. So we would create your switch statement, switch y, and you would have case zero, because 0 is an even number. And then you would write case 2. You would write case 4. You would write case 6. Sorry. And then you would write case 8. And let's say we just like stop at 8. Over here we would write system.out.println, this is an even number. and then you would write your break here. So if we run this, we get this is an even number because 4 is an even number. We change it to 5. You only get this input, which is for the previous one and not this one. So that's another way switch can be used. And it can also be used to compare strings, not just integers. So we have an example, string name equals Sally. Again, let's pretend we don't know what this name is and we want to compare it. So then you'd write switch name, and then instead of writing case 1 or case 2 here, because we're not comparing ints, we would write a name. So you can write Sam here. System.out.println this name is Sam. And then you can have another case, break. Don't forget the break. Then you could have another case, case John. Then you'd write system.out.println this name is John. Break. Then your last case, case Sally. System.out.println this name is Sally. It prints out this name is Sally because this string name equals Sally matches this case, so it's going to print out this code. Switch is mainly used in circumstances where we don't know what the input is. So many times in Java, you can ask for user input, and you don't know what the user is going to input. You don't know what the user is going to say. So you can use switch in this case to, over here where we put name, or whatever input we put the user's input here and then compare their answers and then print out whatever code you want. Here we already know the input, but switch is mainly obviously used in cases where you don't know the input. So that's switch in Java.
Random numbers. Random numbers are part of the math class in Java. They return a random integer or decimal between a certain interval.
If you want to generate a random number in Java, you would write math.random. And this generates a decimal between 0 and 1 where 1 is not included. So if you were to print this out, it will basically give you a really long decimal between 0 and 1. So that's your decimal. Let's say you wanted to generate a random integer and not from 0 to 1, from 0 to 10. Well, there's a certain format for that. This is your format. So you would have int result, which is your result. You would have int in parentheses, then math.random times high minus low. So your high number minus your low number. So that's 10 and 1, right? 10 is your high and 1 is your low because you want to generate an int from 1 to 10. 10 minus 1 is 9 plus 1 because the range in Java works a little differently. So to account for that, you need to add 1. So it would be times 10 plus low. So your low is 1. So if you were to write that out, it would be int result equals int math.random times 10 plus 1. So this will generate a random integer between 1 to 10. So we can print this out. System.out.println result. and you get 1. If we just comment this out real quick, and we continue running this, you get 5, you get 8, so it doesn't matter. As long as you continue running it, you will get a random integer between 1 and 10. And this is your format, so you can change it. You can make it from 1 to 5, you can make it from 5 to 10, you can make it from 3 to 8, whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be from 1 to 10, it could be from 1 to 100. So that's random numbers in Java.
Thanks for watching today's video. Make sure to join our Discord link below if you have any questions or want help or answers to any exercises. There you all have access to an open forums and can interact with the vast coding community. Also, follow our Instagram as well.